Authorities in the Eastern Cape have announced that 9 initiates have died in the province since the start of the summer initiation season. Data from previous years shows that initiation-related deaths have occurred regularly in the Eastern Cape. Thousands of adolescent boys and young men undergo this rite of passage during the summer initiation season. The ritual lasts 3 to 6 weeks, during which initiates camp in forests outside the villages. We're now joined by traditional surgeon Andile Siko. Mr. Siko, I hope you're able to hear me at this time around. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Yes, I can hear you clearly now. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Siko. Mr. Siko, this is usually a conversation that we have every year during this time. And, how do we deal with this ongoing challenge of, some of our initiates, dying during this rite of passage?
Thank you very much. It's been very long now that we've been having the same conversation. I remember the first time the Eastern Cape Health government got involved was in 2001. And now we're in 2025 and yet we're still singing the same song. It means that there should be changes done to the whole thing so to protect the young men out there. One of the things, I'm hoping that I don't step on anybody's foot by these things that I'm going to say. One, you have to register traditional nurses first. I know that the word out there that people think that we are registered, we are not registered. I've been doing this for 26 years now, but still I am not registered. Yes, I'm known by the Department of Health, I'm known by a COCTA in the House of Traditional Leaders, but yet I am not registered under any board that I answer to, which is totally wrong, because we should have a board that has us responsible, have us answer to at times when these things are okay. Number two, I believe, that there should be some sort of mental assessment done to us, traditional nurses and surgeons, because we're dealing with human lives here. And now yet there is nothing done to be checked that mentally my sound to be dealing with a life, so that I know that I'm putting someone's child in danger. That is not done, and that is totally wrong. Or else, why not have a short course now that I can, as a traditional nurse or a traditional surgeon, go for a certain course, whether it's a university or a college, and then I can qualify to be a surgeon or a nurse, so that I know the importance of keeping and ensuring the safety of the boys in the mountains. It's because it's been a very long time now, having the same conversation, talking about the same thing. And then afterwards, then we can go to things like making sure that there is no abuse of these boys in the mountains. And number two, and there is no abuse of alcohol and other substances there, because we cannot lie and say those things do not happen up there. They do happen, and they result in what is happening today.
Why, Mr. Siko, is nothing being done? We continue to report about the deaths of these initiates. Every June, every December, it's the same story. I'm not just speaking about the Eastern Cape on its own. There are other areas as well. But why does there seem to be such a relaxed atmosphere in dealing with this? By now, the very same registrations that you speak about of traditional nurses that are supposed to be registered, we've got to know who is doing what with whose child, where.
Someone should be answering that question. Someone from government should be answering that question. Because unfortunately, when you raise these questions to them, they always say, you are registered. And how do you say I'm registered? Because you've got my name written in some 192 pages somewhere out there. That is not what registration should be, because even we talk of lawyers and doctors, for instance, doctors have got a certain board that they answer to. They are registered under that board. They've got the registration number. I do not have that, which is totally wrong. Then someone in COCTA, someone in the Department of Health, because unfortunately, no one wants to own the whole thing. Someone should own it. We don't know who owns the whole thing. Guys, is it health? Is it COCTA? Is it the house? Because when you go to the house, they will tell you that we're not financed for such things. No one is financing us. We don't have the money. Now, when you go to health will tell you that go to the house, go to the chiefs and the kings, so that they are the ones that are the custodians of the whole thing. So I believe in order for the whole thing to work, all the stakeholders must sit down, respect each other, talk in one word, and that word is to protect the boys out there. Because unfortunately, the stakeholders, as I'm seated here, they're not talking the same language. these stakeholders like us, for instance, traditional surgeons and nurses, were being looked down at so much that we do not sit on the same table with them so that we discuss what is happening in the mountains and what should be done according to that.
And I mean, how is this going to be solved if you're not sitting with the traditional surgeons and those that are involved in the process together with government to try and find a solution to it? Because clearly there would need to be a solution that will come from government if we're talking about some kind of, I'm going to thread very carefully here, I don't want to say regulation, because sometimes people would have issues with saying, and I will use Siko, you know, that has its own way of doing things. But of course, if you're sitting with such a problem, you need government to come on board, you need traditional surgeons to come on board, everyone needs to come around the table who is involved in this process, because we cannot keep on having young men die.
And I still believe that it is wrong for anybody to say that Siko cannot be regulated. See, this one has to be regulated, unfortunately, because people are dying. We're losing lives here. We're losing lives of young leaders, young people who should have been something in the near future. Then why say this should not be regulated? Why stick to ways, old ancient ways of doing things, whilst now things have changed? Because whether we like it or not, things have changed. Then we should change some things then. So to ensure the safety, because seemingly if ever we can say that it should not be regulated, that means we do not care about the lives that we're losing. We do not look deeper into the whole thing. I believe we should regulate it. And in order to regulate it, then all these stakeholders, was unfortunately, the stakeholders, as I'm saying, and I'm not in a position to answer why are we not seated, because we depend on the people in government. We depend on the leaders, as in traditional leaders, to come to the people, to come to us, say, come together. Each and every municipality must have 2 people to represent it, 2 or 3 people to come and represent that municipality. So all sit on the structures up there, because when you go to all the structures of circumcision in the Eastern Cape, there is no traditional nurse, there is no traditional surgeon. And then these people are not even people you can easily identify or trace where they are. That's why a person does something and say, yes, in East London, to a boy, kills a boy, so I'm sorry to use those words. But then unfortunately, you can easily trace that person, because that person can easily disappear and go back to somewhere else and do the same thing, which is totally wrong. That means we're not ensuring the safety of these boys.
I'm hoping somebody is listening, Mr. Siko, because we always have this conversation round about this time of the year where their families have to grieve that their sons have not come back. And we'll have the same conversation again in June next year, in December next year, if the call that you heed, I guess, is not taken seriously, or there's no discussions that are had around how we need to resolve this matter. Traditional surgeon Andile Siko, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning on a topic, round about this time that many conversations are had about it. And really, nothing seems to be done at this stage to try and nip it in the bud. As a result, we see more initiates during the June and December period that do not return home.